It's time now for Entre Nous with Solange Mougin. On the show today, we're looking at the incarceration of the former French president, Nicolas Sarkozy. The prison he is in is La Santé prison here in the French capital.
Yeah, Parisians know this prison well, or at least from the outside they know it well, because it is smack dab in the middle of the 14th arrondissement on the southern edge of Paris. And the Prison de la Santé is actually the last prison that is within Paris proper. When it was inaugurated in 1867, it was the 11th one in the city. But today, most prisons and maisons d'arrêt, as many are called, I'll explain what those are in a minute, they are now generally built outside of cities. So the Prison de la Santé is a bit of a relic. Now, why is it called La Santé, or Prison of Health? Well, because it was built where a hospital once stood that had been commissioned by Anne of Austria in the 1600s. This became the Sainte-Anne Hospital a bit down the road now. There are other things besides its name and its location that make the Prison de la Santé unique. Up until the year 2000, prisoners were held there by ethnicity. Block A was for Caucasians, Block B for blacks, Block C for the Maghreb or North Africans, and Block D for the rest of the world. Today, that is no longer the case, and the prison has also gone through many different renovations over the years, with the last major one ending in 2019, which took a very decrepit and dingy jail and reduced the number of detainees down to 700. Today, it is a modern jail, French jail today, but there are actually a lot more people in it than was initially planned. The Justice Ministry said that there are over 1,200 inmates were as of September 2025. And I'll also get into France's overcrowding, and growing carceral population in a second. But first, back to La Santé. There have been, over the years, many famous prisoners. Before Sarkozy, the likes of Carlos the Jackal, General Noriega, Bernard Tapie, the rapper Joey Starr, the Nazi collaborator Maurice Papon, French hero Alfred Dreyfus, and Apollinaire, as well as many others. And it's also where Robert Badinter saw an execution of his client by guillotine, and thus paving the way for his fight to abolish capital punishment in France. So it's now known for its VIP prisoners and is often preferred by them because of its proximity to Parisian lawyers, rather than, say, Fleury-Mérogis, which is just outside Paris and is the largest prison in Europe.
Solange, let's talk about the French prison system as a whole, because there are a number of problems with them and a number of different prisons as well.
Yeah, architecturally, the over 180 jails in France vary widely. Some are modern, some are falling apart. According to the Nanterre University's watchdog, the Observatory of Inequality in Penal Justice, a third of French prisons were built in the 19th century or before that, so they're quite old. As for the different classifications, well, there are, of course, major prisons, or centres pénitentiaires. There are over 60 of those, according to the watchdog. And then there's what's called des maisons d'arrêt. These differ in that detainees generally serve shorter, no longer than 2-year terms in them, or they are simply waiting for trial and sentencing. And it's actually in these maisons d'arrêt prisons where suicide rates are particularly high, making France actually one of the worst nations in Europe when it comes to prison suicide. Now, the vast majority of the over 80,000 prisoners in France are held in either of these two. But of course, there are other types, like juvenile detention centers. However, nearly all of them, regardless of type, they are all systematically overcrowded. There's room for some 60,000 nationwide, but France now has over 80,000 prisoners, and that number has been increasing rapidly in recent years. Actually, France is ranked third in Europe, after Slovenia and after Cyprus, when it comes to overcrowding. This is according to the Council of Europe's 2025 report on this. And France has repeatedly been sanctioned by the European Court of Human Rights for inhumane conditions and overcrowding. France 24's France in Focus team actually did a great report on this that's airing now and can be found as well on our website. And it lays out what one MP called the ticking time bomb facing French prisons.
Personally, it's as if they've taken away my humanity.
In 10 years, I've seen 18 people commit suicide.
How can we detain people in these conditions? What's the purpose of the sentence? What state are they going to be in when they get out?
Solange, let's go back to Nicolas Sarkozy for a minute, because the former French president is unlikely to face issues of overcrowding.
No, yeah, he is in a wing of La Santé that is for vulnerable prisoners. For security reasons, he is not with other inmates. So he is essentially in solitary confinement wing, in one of those wings. And his lawyers say this may be one of the bigger challenges for him, being alone, even if he will be able to see his family and his lawyers quite regularly. Sentenced to 5 years for criminal conspiracy and the financing of his presidential campaign with Libyan money, Sarkozy is not expected to spend the next 5 years behind bars, even if this could happen. There's an appeal and a request for release underway. But he is now behind bars. And in his bag, Sarkozy is said to have brought earplugs and sweaters because while he won't, like many prisoners in France, have 2 or 3 other men sharing his 9-meter squared cell with mattresses on the floor, he is still in a drafty and loud prison. He'll have his own shower, potentially rent a TV, be able to order food to cook for himself, and to read The Count of Monte Cristo that he brought with him. But he remains nonetheless behind bars with all of the psychological, societal, and historical implications that this entails.
Solange, thank you very much for that. Solange Mougin there. And that's it for this edition of Entre Nous.